New York Times top 10 best-selling author, and this is Advent number 2. This is a series in which I'm going to say one really important message each day leading up to Christmas, just like an Advent calendar with little chocolates inside each day. Well, I'm going to give you a little gem of wisdom every single day. Yesterday was on high energy, and today, Advent number 2, is on prejudice. Prejudice. Raven, I thought you were going to talk about happy subjects. The release of darkness is the greatest brightness there is. The release of darkness is the greatest brightness that there is. So let's talk about prejudice. Turing is possibly the greatest mathematician of all time, certainly the greatest cryptologist of all time. That means uncovering code, cracking codes. He was asked by the British military during the Second World War to crack Hitler's code, which was thought to be uncrackable. And lots of other cryptologists tried to do it. They couldn't do it. He had to invent the computer in order to crack the code. He single-handedly invented the computer during the Second World War, and he single-handedly won the Second World War. No, it wasn't Winston Churchill, Prime Minister Winston Churchill, who won the war. No, it wasn't the United States entering the war near the end. No, it was Turing who single-handedly won the war. And when the war ended, the British military no longer had to protect him. You see, he was a homosexual. And at that time, homosexuality was illegal in England. He was tried. This is the guy who won the war, won the Great War. He was tried and convicted of being a homosexual, and he was offered a choice out of respect for the fact that he won the war. Instead of just giving him 20 years in prison, the judge was kind and offered him a choice, either 20 years in prison or chemical castration. I don't even know what that means, and I've resisted it looking it up in the encyclopedia because I don't know what it means, but it drove him insane, and he shortly thereafter died. What a way to treat one of the greatest mathematicians and the greatest war hero of all time. How about 6 million Jews that were killed because Nazi Germany was told by Hitler that Jews are bad or evil or had horns or something? Maybe I should be prejudiced against because I'm Jewish. Maybe I should be prejudiced against because I'm short or white skin. If I was in a black neighborhood, maybe I'd be prejudiced against because I have white skin or because I have glasses or I'm old. Prejudice is ugly. And now let's talk about getting rid of darkness into the light. So how do you cure prejudice? By taking little steps. You can't just say, boom, I'm no longer prejudiced, because your thoughts are your thoughts, and changing your thoughts in an instant is probably not possible. But I'll tell you what I do. When I read a joke on the internet and I start realizing that it's a racial slur joke, then I delete it and I don't pass it on. And if someone tells me, or starts to tell me a joke and I realize it's a racial slur joke or a put down, even, I have to admit, sometimes they're very, very funny. They are, honest to God, I know they're really, really funny sometimes, but I won't hear it. I'll tell the person to stop, or I'll tell them I'm leaving because I won't allow that. And one of my dearest friends, Dr. Ivan Meisner, who started BNI, the largest referral organization in the entire world, someone made a racial slur comment near him, and Ivan fired him on the spot, told him to pick up his belongings, give him his key, and walk straight out the door. He was a senior officer at BNI, fired on the spot for saying an anti-Jewish word. The guy may not even have known that he was saying something bad. He just used a word inappropriately. Gone. And so what's the step you can take? Stop allowing prejudicial jokes around you. Stop saying prejudicial jokes, like the blonde jokes. You might say, well, they're just funny. Everyone knows they're just funny. Yeah, well, I don't think blondes know that. Or anti-woman jokes, or anti-men jokes. Or in Canada, it's cool, quote, cool, to think that all Newfoundlanders are bad or silly or dumb or uneducated. And there's lots of white jokes about how bad blacks are. It's all horrible. It's all horrible. And you can think globally and act locally by not distributing these jokes, either verbally or on the internet, and not accepting them, or even higher gradient, when someone sends you a joke, whether it's funny or not, if it's a prejudicial joke, if it's anti-white, anti-black, anti-whatever, anti-anything, if its humor depends on putting somebody down, then it's not allowed. It's prejudice, no matter how funny. You can't excuse humor, because I'll tell you, the person who is the butt of that joke does not think it's funny, even though they might laugh for social reasons. Inside it hurts. So that's my little story on curing prejudice, and those are my ways to do it. And number 2 wasn't as happy as number 1, but getting rid of bad is just as good as improving the good. This is Advent number 2. Thank you.